Hi! Today I would like to tell you how to install a K3S along with the latest Rancher using Helm. In the previous tutorial, I installed K3S on one CM4 board along with a CM4 compute module and two Raspberry Pi. I created a virtual machine in Proxmox, installed Debian 11 on it, and then installed Rancher version 2.5.8. The Rancher installation actually created a separate single node cluster on the virtual machine, and Rancher was installed on top of that cluster. Then simply I added an existing cluster consisting of a CM4 and two Raspberry Pi to Rancher. I want to show a different method of installing Rancher. I will create a cluster of K3S on a virtual machine in Proxmox with Debian 11, where Rancher was previously installed. And then I will install Helm and use it to install Rancher. One comment. We must remember to install the K3S version lower than 1.27.0, preferably 1.26.9. Rancher requires K3S version below 1.27.0 because this is the latest version that has been verified and certified by SUSE, the company behind Rancher. Version of K3S above 1.27.0 may be still in testing phase or not compatible with some features or Rancher. It is recommended to use the K3S version compatible with Rancher support matrix to ensure stability and security of the cluster. In the future, I will try to see if the latest Rancher works with any newer version of K3S above version 1.27.0. The K3S release page is in the video description. Now, let's go together to install K3S, Helm, and Rancher. So, let's switch to the command line and we will see what we can do there. First of all, as usual, I'm installing a proper version of the K3S. So in our case, it will be 1.26.9. And here we go. So this is the version, the latest version that is supported by Rancher. And I will then provide information on how to look for the Rancher matrix and how to use it. So first of all, I will hit it, and you can see I'm not installing traefik. I will use NGINX controller as ingress controller. It will be done this way. So here we go. It's installing, and in the meantime, I will try to switch to the browser. And what we can do there, we can do one simple thing. So it's good to see something like Rancher matrix, just like that, and look for Rancher support matrix. And let's see this one. Okay, so it shows you that it's a version 2.71, but we have the latest is 2.76. So you have to select this one. This is the latest version. And you can see here supported Kubernetes platforms for Rancher management. And for K3S version, we have versions between 1.23 and 1.26. So this is it. They are supporting only this because it has been certified. Okay. And in the future, probably you will see that this version changed. But when it will happen, I don't know this. Maybe this year, maybe next year. Hard to say. I don't know how long it takes to certify the next version of K3S and other versions. And you can see they are not supporting only K3S, but also AKS, EKS, GKE, and others. Okay? That's something that is worth to mention, that they are supporting it. And because of this simple fact, they need to check it. Okay. Let's go back to the command line. Now you know why we are using this, and here we go. K3S is installed, so it's good to check the status of service as always. So system ctl status K3S service, and you can see it's up and running. Q will exit the status here. And next thing is just to add autocomplete to our bash shell, actually to bash rc file. So I will do this. I'm just adding with echo the command source kubectl completion bash to bash rc file. And if you will display the last line tile and 1, and it should be something like bash rc file, should display the last line only, and you can see the source is added to this file. Good. Now you need to source this file to be able to use the kubectl command. But before we will use kubectl, we will do one simple thing. We will add configuration to our environment file. So first of all, lsal etc, then rancher, K3S, and K3S.yaml. And this is the configuration file. And if we will do this, but I will move it like that and sudo cat, you can see it's owned by root. That is why this is our configuration file. Good. So what we have to do, we need to copy this like that, Ctrl-Shift-C, then sudo vim etc environment file, then we need to hit insert and type cube config equals and provide this path with shift insert. And here we go, the path is added, and now save and exit, and now just source the etc environment just like that. That is all. Now we can use kubectl get nodes, for example, and it will be ready. So Rancher is ready and is installed. K3S is working. Now we are using a deploy file, and we are applying using the kubectl the ingress NGINX as our ingress controller. Good. Now we need to create ingress controller load balancer file. So we will do this. Here we go. And in this file, you will have to put this content like that. There we go. It will be provided on my website. So the file is done, and now just kubectl apply -f and ingress controller load balancer -yaml. Good. Now check kubectl get pods -a. It will display all the pods, and you can see it is running. Good. Now you need to check more information, so we will check it. kubectl get maybe not nodes, but get svc, yes, and then all namespace and -o and white. We need this because we can see this way that our NGINX controller, load balancer, our ingress controller, it has a cluster IP, and it is doing the redirection. It redirects the traffic on port 18443 from the IP address 10.10.0.120 to the local address 10.43.13.5 in our case. Okay, this is good because we know that it is working. So next thing is just to check the whole configuration of our node. Because host name CTL, as you can see, static host name is Rancher. I use it. So kubectl, then describe nodes just like that, and Rancher, and here we go. You have all the information about our node, so you can review it and you can check if everything running correctly. And next command is good also, kubectl and cluster info. Here we go. And also kubectl get all and -a. It will display all the information also. So here you can see also this SVC. So good. Service is showing that the redirection is controlled by load balancer. So yeah, it's done. And pods are running. Good. Now, next thing is to install Helm. But before you will do this, you need to install the Git. And without Git, probably Helm will not install completely. So sudo apt install Git, because I'm using Debian. And in different operating system, it will be DNF, Yum, or Zipper, or something else. It depends on the operating system you're using. Okay, so now we are installing the Helm just like that with this simple command. Here we go. And then we are adding a bash completion for Helm into the bashrc file. So here we go. I will do this just like that. And one more time source the bashrc file. See, here we go. And now there is a warning, but you don't have to worry about this. And this is something that you can ignore, just because we are leaving those settings, those configuration file as it is. It's owned by root, and it has read write mode for root user, read for root group, and read for others. Eventually you can change it group readable and word readable. So if we will do this, I'm going to show you. Okay, let's do this. We are talking about this file. So what we can do, we can eventually do something like this, h mode 640, and it will change for the word, but no, I will leave it as it is. Okay. Just because Rancher will require those settings also. Now it is good to understand that Rancher requires key and certificate and key. So if you want to install Rancher using Helm, you have to generate a key and then a certificate, a signing request, and after that generate a certificate. Okay, so here we go. We are generating a key, Rancher key. Okay, it's generated. Then we are generating certificate signing request with this command and using our key. Then choose the country, PL for Poland, state of province name, let's get something like this, and locality name city, Lod, because I'm living in Lod, and organization name, let's call it Rancher, just like that. And organization unit, also Rancher, maybe like that. Command name, it will be rancher.local. And email address, admin at sysadmin.info.pl. And yeah, and no challenge password and no optional company name, leave it empty. And now we need to generate a certificate using our key and certificate signing request. So here we go, it's done. And you can see everything is set as it should be. Now we need to add Helm repository. So we will add actually a Rancher repository using Helm this way. And after that, we are updating the repository with Helm command. And then we need to create a namespace, create this cattle system, and it's created. And now the next step is to create a secret using our certificate and key. And now we will stop for a moment. If you are working in the company, it doesn't matter where, and you are generating a self-signed certificate, but the certificate is not signed by you, but instead it is signed by root CA certificate that belongs to the company. So in this case, you're sending the certificate signing request to the proper team, or a group or a person that is responsible for signing the key with root CR certificate, okay? And usually you then receive a file in PEM format, PEM, right? This format. So thanks to this, you can then use a certificate signed by your company. And if you will receive, for example, a file in PEM format, you can do this instead of the command that I provided above. I will not do this. I will just show you the example how you can do this. So kubectl-and cattle system, so the namespace that we already created, then create a secret the same way as it is. But you can see here above there is a TLS and then the name tls-rancher-ingress and path to certificate and key. And in this case, we are using TLS, but CA-CA, so we are using generic TLS-CA name, for example. It can be something else, but we are using a generic, not a TLS, but generic. And from file, so you provide this path this way. So you can replace the name and you will do this like I presented on the screen. And this way you will be able to create a secret that contains a change certificate from your company. Okay, I will cancel it. And now one thing, you need to create a file values.yaml. For example, it can be something like this, and just because we are creating values. And I will put the content into the file. It will be also provided on my website, so you will be able to just use the copy paste and it should work just like that. But okay, I need to do this and I will copy it. First I need to explain this file step by step, so GG to go back to the beginning of this file. And here we will not focus much on all the file, but I will scroll a little bit. And here we go. We have something like, of course, the service port ID, and you can see tls-rancher-ingress and secret. So it was defined this way. So in the values, you need to provide exactly the same secret name. And then scroll down. And here, the private key is set, CA is set to false. Because I'm using a self-signed certificate, if you're working in a company, what I mentioned previously, right? And you have a change certificate from your company in PEM format, you need to switch this to true. This is also a crucial step when you're working in the company. Also, if your company or you are using at home a proxy, you have to enable a proxy. Then you can exclude from proxy proper IP addresses and actually subnets from proxy, so proxy will not use it. And what's next? And you can see rancher.local is added here. It's excluded at the end. Talking about this exactly, I will highlight. Okay. And if you will go back a little bit, here we go, something like this. And here you have a host name, rancher.local. So it's important to set a proper host name. Okay. And okay, so this is something that I already explained, and we will then scroll down. And one more thing is worth to mention, that we will talking about a bootstrap password, and yeah, here it is. You can leave it empty like I did previously when I was testing it. So I left it empty and I then figured it out that Rancher is creating a random password. So yeah, you can use a random password, or you can eventually, and it is much better, to create your own, like I did now, and it will be using this test 1, 2, 3, 4. This is of course an initial password, and you will change it after the first login to the Rancher. Okay, and of course liveness probe, readiness probe, and global cattle that is all. Save and exit. Okay, now it is good to understand that we need to create our rancher in namespace cattle system using this value file. So we'll use this Helm install rancher. So we are installing rancher. We are using rancher stable-rancher repository that was added previously in namespace cattle system, and we are using the values.yaml file. Here we go. Just like that. And it should install. Good. Now it is good to see this. Control-Shift-C, and here we go. If you're running it the first time, so rancher.local dashboard is working. Also, if you are not running it the first time, but you need a bootstrap password and you didn't set it up in the values file, so Control-Shift-C, Control-Shift-V or Shift-Insert or something like that, and it will display the password. So in case if this password generated by rancher, it will display it here and you will be able to copy it. Okay, actually this is everything, and that's the whole installation. And what you need to do then, you just to copy this, and you should open the browser and you should be able to get into the rancher. So let's switch to browser. Then I will just open this URL, advanced, open the website, service temporarily unavailable. I'm going to explain why. We'll go back to the command line, and now I will use watch command to observe changes in the command kubectl get then pods and -a. And here we go. We need to wait because you can see those 3 pods, they are running but 0, 1. So we need to wait for them. And when at least one will be running, and now all 3 now running. So yes, it is correct. So Control-C to break this watch window, and we will then go back to the browser and we will see what is going on there. So F5 on your keyboard should refresh, or Control F5, and here we go. Rancher is open. Untick this, tick this, and click continue. Saving, and it should get into the dashboard. It's working. So if you will go here to preferences, you can change light, auto, or dark. And what more? Here we go. I would like to change my password. So in account, I'm going to change the password and test 1, 2, 3, 4, and new password. I will just type a new password here. So just give me a second and I will generate using my password generator some kind of password that is difficult. And then I will paste it here to the field new password, and then I will confirm the password. So 1 second please. And something like this. And you can of course generate a random password, but I prefer to generate passwords using the password generator I have. Okay, not now, and here we go. The password is generated, and log out now, and logging out. And now I should be able to get into this file, into the rancher using the newly generated password. Lovely, it's working. Local. And okay, you will now ask, okay, you have the version K3S 26.9. Can you install a newer version of K3S on your worker nodes? And I can say, yes, of course, you can do this. What we need, actually, we need only token and IP address of the master node, actually. So here we go. We are proceeding with installation of K3S, the newest version of K3S on our worker nodes. So we have a token. Now we have an IP address of our master node. And what we need to do, we need to replace the token with the token we have, I mean, I'm talking about the one-liner. There is a variable K3S underscore token equals. So we need to put this token and IP address to the correct place. And I will show you this in a moment and you will understand it better. So I'm copying now my one-liner and I will switch to the worker number 1 and I will put it here. So here we go. You can see install K3S version. We can get rid of this and we will install the newest version. So instead of this, you can just get rid of this, just like that. Use only K3S token and K3S URL, and you can see the IP address of our node, master node, and the port number 6443, K3S node name worker 1. Here we go. It should install. And now what I'm going to do, I will just switch to the browser and I will see is it working correctly. So go to the nodes and observe the situation here. And now you should be able to see that the node is connected to the cluster. And here we go. Just like that, it's connected. And you can see version 27.6 working. Okay, so we can proceed with the installation on next node. So we will then install it the same way. Our master node. So it will be this time worker 2. So go back to the command line, go to the worker 2 and install it just like that. And the same on CM4 board. So we will do this and we will hit. You can of course install the version of K3S between 1.23 and 1.26. So it depends on your needs, which version of K3S you need on your node. And that's it. And here we go. Also here kubectl and get nodes. It will display it. And we can also assign roles. Lovely. We will wait for the CM4. Now it's ready. So we will add labels here. That labelet. Now labels are added, and I will go back to the browser. And here we go. You can see the panel, and that's it. Everything is working as expected. So you don't have to worry which version of K3S you have to install on your worker nodes, because actually it doesn't matter. If you have a version between 1.23 and 1.26, it will work. So with, of course, here, and I mean, I'm talking about the situation when there are problems, but here I installed the newest version on our worker node, and I have only version 1.26.9 on master, and worker nodes have the newest version of K3S, and this is working, and it is really, I tested it during this weekend and I was checking everything, crashes and what is going on there and why and what is the problem. So if you are curious, one thing, I will just log out. Now what I'm going to do, I will just close this website and I will go back to the command line, and you would like to know if it's possible to check will K3S survive the reboot and will be problem or not. Okay, so we can do that because I already did it and I was testing it. So reboot, and we will wait a little bit longer just because it takes some time. And in the meantime, I will switch to the camera and I will talk to you, and you will be able to understand a few things. So what I did, I was testing the reboot. So I checked if it's possible to have Rancher working after the reboot. And of course, I had some troubles just because sometimes Rancher didn't work. I mean, I typed the rancher.local to the address bar in my browser and it didn't work. What I had to do, actually, I had to restart the K3S, but this is not a good approach when you are working in a company. Now, instead of this, do not restart the K3S, do not restart the Kubernetes, but try to delete pods and only pods that are faulty. And if you will see some kind of error, to try to delete the pod. If ingress control failed, delete the pod. If the rancher pod failed, delete the pod. And if you will do this, the default policy restart always in rancher and actually in Kubernetes, it will work, and it will restart rancher pod, it will restart ingress controller, NGINX pod, it will restart every failed pod you deleted. And of course, you can try to figure it out and you can watch logs, but sometimes it is impossible. And you type kubectl logs and the name of the pod, and it says that it is impossible to get logs. So if there is any problem, of course, you can investigate it. But at home, when you're working or even in a company, even after investigated that, okay, that is fine, it is secure to delete the pod because the pod will be restarted and we treat pods as cattle, just like that. We delete pods and we create new one and new will be created automatically and everything will be up and running. There's actually no need to restart the K3 service, Kubernetes service, K3 service or something like this. Yeah, so instead, work with pods, delete pods, investigate pods, and check logs for pods, and figure it out if you can delete safely pods. But mostly, it is safe to delete the pod. Just because if you will delete it, the new one will be created, and actually, usually it's created properly. So we will go back to the command line now, and we will see. You can see that reboot has been done, and I will just check the uptime now, and you can see up 1 minute. So what we are going to do, of course, we are checking the get pod A, and we are seeing this. Okay, let's go to the browser and we will see is our rancher working. So here we go, and I will click it here, and oh, it's failed. So go back to the command line now and observe the situation, and you can see, is there anything that is not working? You can see errors here. Lovely. So here we go. Clear the screen, remove the watch command, something like this, and use only this. And now, without even checking kubectl logs, but I will show you kubectl logs. For example, we want this error and the namespace and something like this, and okay, cattle system, and here we go, unable to retrieve container logs. Not funny. Okay, so clear the screen, Control C, Control L, and get both. And what you can do, I think that the best option is if you have something like this, and you have 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and 0, 2, and something like this. So those 4 should be actually deleted. So let's start from the ingress, this one, ingress control. So kubectl, delete pods, just like that. And now this one, ingress engine controller. And remember always about the namespace, ingress NGINX. Delete. Now, next is this. And namespace cattle system. Here we go. And the next is this one. Also the cattle system, but we will do this. That. And yeah, and we now need to wait a little bit longer because it's deleting. Okay. And at the end, it's good to also delete this pod, and it should work. So now it seems it's free, so we will check the status. You can see it's terminating. So if you will even Control C, you will be able to see what is going on here, and you can see it's container creating, and this can be also deleted. So let's see, ql delete pods like this, and the namespace will be cube system. Okay, this one, and now get pods. We can even try to delete it one more time. It's not found. Okay, so it created a new one. And now we can see the status, container creating, evicted. So we can try to use the watch command to observe the changes. And we will see where it worked. And now we will try to go back, but I'm wondering about this, and I don't know why it's evicted for some reason. But you can try to go back to the browser and we will see it working. So here we go and refresh. Will it work? It doesn't. Okay, go back to the command line and one more time get the funny thing. Watch. Okay. Get pods -a, and we will try to delete the pod. This one. Namespace. This. Oh, that is interesting. You can try to delete pods. Okay, this one. And namespace cattle system. Control C. Of A. This one. And import and this one. And namespace cattle system. And wait. Just wait. And in the meantime, I'll try to go back to the browser and to do refresh. And now, it's working. So, yeah, this is the solution. So sometimes you need to delete pods and it will work. Here we go. 16 cores, 27 gigabytes. Go. We have our nodes working. Everything is up and running. There is no need to worry about this. And if we will go back to the command line, you can see it's deleted. And now we just can check the status with kubectl get for A. And now everything is up and running. There is no evicted, no error, no fail, no crash, look back, etc. Only one, this one is creating, but it will be created later because there is also rancher here, and you can observe it. This one is here, and this one is here. So we have three usually working. So you don't have to worry about this, that if the one is creating in the background, so it will be created in a later time. And yeah, so we need to wait. But everything is up and running now, and there is no need to perform commands like sudo stl restart K3S. It helps, but I recommend to work with bots and delete bots just to solve the problem and to get rid of the issue. And that's all. All is up and running. There is no need to worry about this. And yeah, so if you will observe like this, that the Kubernetes Rancher dashboard is not running correctly and you can't get into it, you will have to restart both. One thing is worth to mention: how I achieved my goal by using rancher.local. There are two approaches. One is to add rancher.local to hosts file in Windows. This is the first way, but this way you will be able to use only the rancher.local, the dashboard, actually on only one machine on your computer, where you modified a host file. The second option is to have own DNS, and I have AdGuard Home. You can do exactly the same thing in P-hole. So if you have a P-hole, do this. And I'm going to present how to do this in AdGuard Home. So just give me an option to log in and go to the filters and DNS rewrites. In P-hole, you need to find the section DNS rewrite, and it is there. Because I know this, I checked it, but I don't have a P-hole. And now at DNS rewrite, enter the domain, enter the IP address, save, and that's all. I did rancher.local and provided my IP address of my master node. So in this case, when I'm typing rancher.local, it asks my DNS in my local network at home, and its response, you can find rancher.local under this IP address, and here we go. It will just give you the IP address and it will connect. So this is the way I achieved my goal, and I can access Rancher dashboard from any device that is connected to my local network at home. So if you know how tunnels are working, VPN tunneling, VPN connection, Tailscale, remember correctly the name, WireGuard, and other solutions. So even outside home, you can create a proper VPN tunnel to your home, and if you will connect with your router at home, you will receive the local IP address on your device, and if you will go on holiday, you will be able to get the access to the Rancher. But of course, you need to remember about certificates, about security, and all those settings that are required if you want to create something like this. I create such solution. So remember about the security piece and do it properly, harden systems to not let hackers get into. And of course, install monitoring. Watch what is going on your router, log everything, and if there is something suspicious, the email should be sent at least, or better, text message to your mobile device. This is much better approach. Okay, so a lot of talking now. And currently, I would like to say that this is the end of the tutorial. In the next video, I will present you the way how to install Helm and Rancher and using the newest version of K3S, and I will show exactly the error and how to get rid of the problem if you do this mistake by installing the newest version of K3S, and then you will try to install the Helm, and using Helm you will try to install Rancher, and you will meet the error that it is not supporting the version of K3S installed previously without actually deleting the K3S and the whole installation. Then we can solve the problem. And I know how to do that, and I tested it also. So thank you very much and have a nice day or night. Take care. Bye bye.